So I'm curious, in terms of, being, kind of a self, you created this app from scratch. You, like you said to yourself, every, aspect of the launcher. Launchers are incredibly complicated pieces of software. So how do you approach that when you're really, you're making an app that is, I imagine, working towards a vision that you have in your head, but you're also competing with the other launchers that are out there, as well as with Google and their own, like the anointed, Pixel launcher or Google launcher or whatever, the launcher of the day is. How do you, is it easy to get distracted by what other launchers are doing, or do you stay focused with your vision for Nova?
I feel it's important for me to keep up with what they're doing, especially what the so-called stock launcher is. It's hard for Nova not to have a feature or a visual interface that the stock launcher has, because we just get so many requests for it, and it's seen. I mean, even in a way, it's harder for Nova's competitors than Nova, because Nova's seen as the default. So any third-party launcher can have its own unique features, but if it doesn't have a feature Nova has, it's missing that. It's not like Nova has this unique feature they don't have. It's more like this launcher is lacking because it doesn't have this feature that Nova has, and everything should have that. So I have that advantage that it's more, other launchers are seen as they have their unique features. It's not expected Nova has them as well, unless it's the Pixel launcher, stock launcher, whatever. So yeah, it's really hard. I frequently, sorry, my cat's getting in the way.
Don't apologize.
It's part of the team, right? Yes. The cat handles QA, right?
Yeah. So I frequently end up pushing the features that I've been planning for a while. I want to do this thing, but it has to keep being pushed back because I need to implement things that Google's just done. And the features that I have in mind, users might be requesting them, but it's more like I have my own take on something. I want to do something new. So users aren't demanding that because they don't even know about it, whereas they know what Pixel Launcher has, and so they demand that.
Yeah, it's kind of a healthy combination of what people expect based on what they know about, and kind of the unique kind of flavor that you can introduce into it that's unique to Nova and makes that special. How do you keep incentivized to keep this update schedule so rigorously? Because I mean, we hear often, and actually Chris Lacey is a prime example of this, right? You spend all this time developing a product, and then it's hard to kind of justify continuing to pour effort into that particular product if the people that are using it have already paid you and there's no recurring payment around that. So of course, Chris, as we all know, he works on a new version of Action Launcher and releases that. And if you want to buy into the new version, that kind of keeps him employed, essentially, creating a great launcher. How do you keep incentivized? Because you don't do that. You really stick to the long-standing, 5 years now Nova launcher that's been in the Play Store all along. How do you keep that up?
Users keep buying. Theoretically, it's not sustainable to have a one-time purchase app that you offer support and updates forever. But there's the last statistic is a couple years old, but it's 1.5 million new Android activations a day. You just need a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of that to buy your app, and you're good. So there's so many new Android users, and there's so many existing Android users who haven't yet bought Nova. So people keep buying. And then the existing users, they're a huge asset that Nova has great reviews on the Play Store, in part because, when I update people leave a new 5-star review, or they hadn't reviewed it before. I should finally review this app. I've been using it for years. And anytime launchers are talked about, Chris charging for the Action Launcher update, that gets brought up, and people say, but Nova didn't charge. And it's nice to be seen in that positive light there, that users are happy they can keep using it. Mm-hmm. So but I'm in a fortunate position that Nova can do that. It's the market's very lopsided. Not all apps can be in that position where they can get new users that enough to sustain development. So, But this works for me, and I'm thankful, and it's it's an easy decision to just keep doing it because it works and I like it. Users are happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's like your legacy has sold new users on the idea of buying into it because of how it's performed over the last 5 years and how people are incredibly happy. You always see Nova on the lists of what launcher should I get. Nova's always near the top, if not at the top. What's been the biggest challenge for you as in your time developing a launcher for Android over the years? I mean, Android's changed a lot over the past 5 years. What if you had to look back and pick out just an incredible challenge that you had to overcome in this process? What was it?
I'll pick two.
Okay, that works too.
So one would be material design. So that was like if there was a time to dethrone Nova, that was the chance. And I'm really proud with how Nova embraced material design. A lot of that was Liam's graphic design. But it was also I feel like the attitude I took with, I removed some features that it's for that level of an update. It's necessary. Like you're rewriting so much stuff. It takes so much longer to keep everything intact. And I had, some features that I added, like, Nova pre 1.0, and they were rarely used. They were poorly implemented. It made sense to cut them at that point. But mostly I kept the features, and users, they weren't significantly interrupted by this update. It wasn't like this drastic change that interfered with how they use the app. And then the design, it fully embraced material. It wasn't a quick reskin. It was, we had the animations that looked right. We had the settings screen that wasn't just theme different. You interacted with it different to match material. So that update was hard to do right. And we had a ton of betas, like it might have been 30 betas for that or maybe more. But I was waiting until it was right before releasing stable.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and when you are doing a beta, I mean, so much of your user base are people who are open and willing and happy to participate in a beta and understand why it would take 30 tries to get to the final product.
Yeah, my beta users are great, and there's a ton of them. I don't know if I can pull it up. I have 375,000 beta testers. Nice. And so that's it's ridiculous. But we get such good feedback. In a way, it's some people do staged rollouts to carefully handle this. When we release just to beta, that's pretty much a release, and we get press coverage. A beta is releasing a new feature beta is a big deal. But we get the bug reports right away, because they're also the beta users. They're passionate users. They have they've tweaked all their settings. They're using a ton of widgets. They're gonna find the bugs. And so then by the time we get to stable, it is pretty stable because we had such good coverage with the beta.
Right.
So the second
one, go.
Yeah. So the second big challenge is dealing with businesses that I'm very much a developer. I'm not a business person. And so a couple of years ago, I had a company that was interested in acquiring Nova. And so I didn't really think it would work, but I wanted to talk it out. I wanted to just explore the possibility. And it was really intimidating to have that conversation, because it's because I couldn't necessarily keep up on the business side. That I don't, he's saying things to you as a salesman, he was really good, and it made me think, oh yeah, this could be great. And then I think later, I'm I don't understand this. What does this mean? What does this offer mean? So that was just kind of, and I'm glad I didn't end up doing that. But it was quite challenging, because that's an area that I don't have experience in.
Yeah.